Have you ever pondered about the most catastrophic incidents that have shaped our world? The pages of history are stained with tales of destruction and despair, events so profound they left an indelible mark on humanity. From epidemics to genocides, natural disasters to wars, our past is riddled with incidents that have shaped our present and continue to influence our future. Understanding these events is crucial, not merely as a testament to the resilience of human spirit, but as a stark reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink. As we count down the top 10 worst incidents, we've considered the scale of human loss, the impact on society, and the long-term effects. These are not just stories of devastation but lessons from history that echo through the ages. So, hold on to your seats and steel your nerves. Brace yourselves as we embark on this journey, starting from the 10th worst global incident. Number 10 on our list is the Spanish flu, an infectious horror that gripped the globe in 1918. An H1N1 virus with genes of avian origin was the culprit behind this catastrophic pandemic. The name Spanish flu emerged not because of the origin of the virus, but as Spain's newspapers were the first to report the epidemic in detail, while the World War I belligerents maintained wartime censorship. The Spanish flu was a monster that didn't discriminate, affecting people in every corner of the world. It was particularly deadly for young, healthy adults, a demographic typically resilient to such diseases. In just under 2 years, it claimed an estimated 50 million lives worldwide, more than the total casualties of World War I. The pandemic left a lasting impact on global society, causing widespread fear and confusion, and exposing the vulnerability of healthcare systems. The Spanish flu, a grim reminder of the destructive potential of pandemics. Moving on, we land on the 9th worst incident, the Rwandan Genocide. Nestled in the heart of Africa, Rwanda in the early 90s was a ticking time bomb. Deep-seated ethnic tensions between the Hutu majority and the Tutsi minority escalated into a horrifying catastrophe in 1994. The genocide, lasting a mere 100 days, witnessed the brutal massacre of nearly 1 million Tutsis and moderate Hutus. This was not a spontaneous eruption of violence. Rather, it was a meticulously planned and executed operation, fueled by propaganda and dehumanizing rhetoric. The aftermath was equally devastating. The country was left in ruins, families torn apart, and the survivors burdened with the trauma of the horrific events. International response was, tragically, woefully inadequate, a fact that haunts the global community to this day. The Rwandan genocide serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of hate and indifference. The Rwandan genocide, a chilling testament to the darkness of human nature. Number 8 brings us to the shores devastated by the Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004. A day after Christmas, an undersea earthquake struck off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, setting off a cataclysmic chain of events. The quake, one of the strongest ever recorded, unleashed a series of monstrous waves, tsunamis, that sped across the Indian Ocean, leaving destruction in their wake. 14 countries were affected, from Indonesia to the eastern coast of Africa. The waves, some reaching 30 meters in height, crashed into coastal communities, wiping out entire towns and claiming lives indiscriminately. The death toll was staggering, with over 200,000 people losing their lives. But amidst the devastation, humanity shone through. International response was swift and massive, with nations around the world rallying to provide aid and support. Recovery efforts were Herculean, rebuilding lives from the rubble. The Indian Ocean tsunami, a stark reminder of nature's fury. At number 7, we have an event that has left an indelible mark on humanity: the Holocaust. It was during the Second World War, under the Nazi regime, that the Holocaust took root. A systematic, state-sponsored genocide. It was fueled by a virulent anti-Semitism that had been simmering for centuries. 6 million Jews, along with millions of other victims deemed undesirable by the Nazi ideology, were mercilessly killed in concentration and extermination camps. The world recoiled in horror as the extent of the atrocities came to light. The aftermath was a world forever scarred, a Jewish population devastated, and a vow: never again. The Nuremberg trials sought to bring the perpetrators to justice, but the wounds of the Holocaust run deep and continue to ache. The Holocaust, a grim chapter in human history, reminding us of the horrors of hate. Number 6 takes us to the catastrophic atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In August of 1945, the world bore witness to the devastating power of nuclear weapons, as the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This was a desperate attempt to end the Second World War swiftly, avoiding further casualties on both sides. The immediate effects were horrifying. Within a blink, entire cities were reduced to rubble, and an estimated 200,000 people lost their lives. The majority of those who survived were left with life-altering injuries, and a grim reminder of the event etched into their memories. But the bombing's impact extended far beyond the immediate aftermath. The radiation fallout led to long-term health complications like cancer and birth defects among survivors and their descendants. These bombings forever altered global politics and warfare, ushering in the nuclear age with a chilling demonstration of its potential for destruction. The atomic bombings, a haunting reminder of the destructive power of nuclear weapons. At number 5, we delve into the dark era of the slave trade. From the 15th to the 19th centuries, millions of Africans were forcefully taken from their homes and sold into slavery, primarily by European merchants. This trade was driven by a ruthless desire for wealth and power, with human lives reduced to mere commodities. The origins of the slave trade are complex, intertwined with the rise of colonial empires and the burgeoning global economy. Slaves were subjected to horrifying conditions, packed into ships like cattle and forced to endure grueling journeys across the Atlantic. Many didn't survive the journey, and those who did faced a life of brutal labor and inhumane treatment. The legacy of the slave trade is still felt today. It has left deep scars on the societies it affected, contributing to lasting racial inequalities and social tensions. The struggle for racial justice and reconciliation continues, a stark reminder of this painful past. The slave trade, a horrifying chapter that has left lasting scars on humanity. Number 4 brings us face to face with the devastating world wars. In the first half of the 20th century, the world bore witness to 2 of the most catastrophic events in human history, World War I and II. The root causes of these wars were complex and multifaceted, ranging from nationalistic tensions and territorial disputes to political power struggles. The scale of destruction was unprecedented. Millions of lives were lost, cities were razed to the ground, and economies were shattered. The lingering effects of these wars continue to shape our world today. They have influenced international relations, spurred technological advancements, and prompted a global commitment to peacekeeping. The world wars also ushered in an era of profound social and political change. They challenged traditional power structures, catalyzed the rise and fall of nations, and forever altered the course of human history. The world wars, a dreadful testament to the horrors of global conflict. Number 3 takes us back to the Middle Ages, to the time of the Bubonic Plague, a time when Europe was in the firm and deadly grip of the Black Death, the most devastating pandemic in human history. Originating in Asia, the Bubonic Plague was carried by fleas on black rats, and these tiny creatures brought about an enormous wave of death and despair. Over a period of just 5 years, from 1347 to 1352, the plague wiped out an estimated 75 to 200 million people. That's around 60% of Europe's entire population at the time. Whole cities were decimated, families torn apart, and societies forever changed. The plague's impact was so profound, it reshaped Europe's economic and social structure, paving the way for the Renaissance and the Age of Discovery. The Bubonic Plague, a grim reminder of the devastation diseases can cause. Number 2 brings us to the colonization of the Americas, a time of great change and enormous loss. A period stretching from the late 15th to the 19th centuries, it witnessed the arrival of Europeans on American shores, forever altering the course of history. The colonization was not just about discovery or the exchange of cultures, it was a time of unfathomable devastation for the indigenous peoples. Diseases, warfare, and harsh policies led to a genocide, wiping out large portions of the native population. The era also marked the beginning of one of the most brutal systems of forced labor: slavery. Africans were captured, transported, and sold in the Americas, their lives irrevocably changed by the brutalities of the transatlantic slave trade. Moreover, the colonization set the stage for the geopolitical landscape we see today, resulting in long-term effects that still echo throughout the world. The colonization of the Americas, a chilling testament to the destructive power of colonialism. And finally, the worst incident in human history: climate change. It's a slow-burning catastrophe, largely of our own making. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes have significantly increased greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. The result? Our planet is heating up at an alarming rate, causing a cascade of catastrophic events. Rising sea levels, more frequent and severe weather events, and shifting wildlife populations and habitats are all harbingers of this change. But it doesn't stop there. If left unchecked, we're looking at a future where droughts, floods, and extreme heat could become the new norm, threatening food security, water supply, and the very survival of countless species, including our own. The urgency of addressing climate change cannot be overstated. It's a global crisis that requires a global response. Climate change, the greatest challenge of our time, and a stark reminder of our responsibility towards our planet.